Yeah. All right, someone called this meeting of the town of Griffin to order at 6 o'clock. Today's date's February 18th, and we're here at the fire station.
Start with the minutes.
Start with
The town of Griffin held its regular scheduled meeting on Wednesday, January 21st, 2026 at 6 p.m. Council President Nathan Stone, council members Judy Christmas and Julie Staples, and clerk treasurer Heather Kern. Visitors present 8 per the sign-in sheet. Minutes from December 17th, 2025 meeting were read. Judy Christmas made motion to accept minutes and Julie made second the motion. Claims were approved and paid. Bank reconciliation for SBOA monthly auditing requirements was signed. Meeting was recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Old business, Titzer property. Nathan stated that he had a meeting with Adam Farrar scheduled for January 22nd, 2026. Adam Wilson property. Nathan stated he has built an area to store the RV under and continues to clean up. Nathan stated he was balanced out what the town expected of him. Ira Wilson property. Nathan stated that he is in the process of cleaning things up as evidenced by his front porch. Heather stated that he did not sign his letter, but his 30 days would be up by now. Nathan said he is in the process, so he will continue to monitor and see how it goes. Website for the town. Nathan gave out handouts to council to review things for the website, asked that they review it in between now and February meeting. Discussed the 6 letters that were mailed out. The letters were to Joanne Nelson, Ernie Daughtery, Andrew and Ronald Bangert, Alicia Johnson, Harold Farrar, and Carrie, Chris, and Barry Fetcher. At the meeting, the only signed return forms received were from Joanne Nelson and the Fetchers. Dean Farrar did contact Nathan and stated that they planned to start tearing down the trailer. He gave Nathan a 6-month plan and Nathan approved. Eddie Daughtery was present at the meeting and provided a letter to the council. Nathan read the letter and they do plan to work on tearing the building on Main Street down and stated it would be finished by the end of the year. Julie did question if the letters had the place where the meetings were held in time. Julie stated we may need to mail all new letters to them for accurate court purposes. Nathan stated he would ask Adam at the meeting on January 22nd. Nathan did verify with the attorney, Adam Farrar, that the letter did give the date and also the town email, Nathan's email and phone number, so they could wanted any of that more information. There was a way on the letter for them to contact the town. New business, annual appointment of president and clerk treasurer. Nathan Stone was voted for president of 2026. Heather Kern was voted for clerk treasurer for 2026. Annual appointment of town attorney was made for Adam Farrar to remain the town's attorney. 2026 bank depository was signed for First Bank to remain the bank of the town. Letter to 128 South Main was discussed. Nathan wanted to give them 60 days from when they moved in. That would roughly be the middle of February. Nathan stated we will discuss it at February meeting and mail the letter at the point if needed. Public comments and questions. There were several attending visitors had questions regarding the letters being sent to residents who needed to clean up their properties. There was a lengthy discussion about how this could be done and not cause conflicts with the council and resolve the issue in a respectful manner. Julie Staples asked if there was a burn ordinance. Nathan stated there was not and he would look into this. Judy Christmas made a motion to adjourn the meeting and Julie Staples second. The meeting was adjourned at 6:36 p.m.
One correction is Ernie Daughtery instead of
What did I say?
Eddie.
Oh my gosh.
Eddie Daughtery.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when it gets back to fast?
Ever wonder how much ink we use?
Hmm?
You ever wonder how much ink we use?
If we think we might have the quill and inkwell.
Yeah. Old school.
Mhm.
It's all-
You want me to make a motion to accept the minutes?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as they have been corrected.
Now we're rolling to old business.
Oh, gosh, I missed
I'm
it.
starting.
I know it, dang it.
I thought about this one.
Am I missing
Here
one?
it is.
Okay, on to it.
Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna roll into old business, starting off with the Titcher property update date. I went down and talked to, well, he actually called me, went down at lunch last week.
Mike?
Mr. Farrar, yeah, our town attorney.
Okay,
And basically what I have here is the motion to authorize the performance for the town of Griffin on the Titzer properties. Which he has to turn in, I had to sign, he has to turn it into the judge, and the judge gives us a formal thing, but to do that, right, we also have to start thinking about the cost of tearing it down, all right? Because we have to turn it into the judge has to approve the funds for it, because it's gonna end up turning over to Titzer, who's not gonna pay for it in a long run, and then it's going to go with property taxes, and then they'll go to the court systems. So you're looking for, I'm assuming not knowing much about how this system works, you know what I mean? But a return on investment on this is probably 5 to 6 years down the road. So that's probably what we need to start thinking about. If we pay a third party to come down and tear down all this stuff. But a third party we have to go find the third party. They have to come in, they have to do their assessment, right? See how much it's going to cost. They'll have to turn those costs over to us. Then we have to take that down to our attorney. He'll turn it into the judge. The judge will say yay, nay, you know what I mean? Find another third party to do it. Then once that happens, then the third party can take it down. You know, it charges the town, right? And then once it's done, then the recuperation of those funds goes through Posey County Court. And I'm sure there's somewhere in the law, I have not looked that deep, and Adam's not giving me that information. He's got to look into it. How long it takes for the court to say this guy's not paying, right? Here's the property taxes, Posey County pays that off. So, like I said, but I'm looking at this as a 5 to 6 year run for these properties. So that's just what my assumption is. All right, so
I do have a question when you're done.
go ahead.
Do we need the judge to give permission for us to go onto the property with the third party to give us a more, cause I know Eddie had gotten 2 people to give estimates, but it was basically just from like the road.
Yep.
He had said that in one of the meetings.
So we are authorized to perform or direct the performance of such specific acts as a respondent's expense. So we have that authorized to perform or direct so we can walk onto the property itself.
Okay. So once he signs that.
Once the
we
judge
have-
signs, I've signed it, I've got to wait for the judge to sign it and get a copy of it. So once we have that, then it
Then we
formally,
can start
turns over to
getting
us.
estimates.
yeah.
On them estimates, would it be simpler, or is it possible if you had like 3 estimates from 3 different ones at the same time?
You should always have to have 3 estimates.
Yeah.
You should always have 3.
Well, I didn't know if you could said just had to get one. I didn't know if we didn't agree with that, you didn't get another one, so I didn't know if you get all 3 at the same time or 4 of them.
Yeah, we'll
You
always
know,
go,
it's
we'll always
in
go
the
with
man.
3.
Mhm.
So always go with 3. All right.
And then just present all 3 to the judge.
Yep.
So does, whoever we get, or we decide on to do it, I assume they're gonna have to be licensed and bonded and insured in case they get hurt on the property, or is the town insured?
Who's going to cover that? That's something I have to get with Adam. I need to talk with him. So
Well-
basically, the way this one's got to go at this point is we've got to bring him down here to the meeting. You know what I mean? So we can ask those questions. on that part, because I'm not smart enough on this law
Because,
to answer that
Back-
question.
last year, when we were talking about this, they wanted me to go talk to the CPA, and there is no CPA in, not CPA, EPA, I'm sorry, in Mount
Mount
Vernon.
Vernon.
There is none.
Right,
I went and they directed me to Sherry Willis, which is the head of the abandonment and demolition of Mount Vernon.
right,
And she gave me all this paperwork. And she had worked up a proposal for, Poseyville. So she gave me like all their stuff and said, all we needed to do was to tweak it, but it was to protect us, and it's the steps we needed to take. Like
Yeah.
you get estimates, and then the one you get with, and you have him sign a copy of something, and then you go. And then the past clerk treasurer said, we did not need to do all that. So I don't know.
But yeah, so we, like I said, this is gonna be something we have to pass through the attorney to answer those types of questions, because I'm not up to speed on the entire process, and that's what we pay him
Yeah.
the money for, to tell us our next step.
I
So,
do know that most companies, just for me, like with me that we work with, they're all insured and bonded, so
Mhm.
they all usually,
But like I said, it's probably something we definitely need to make a checklist off of, so. So a little more research needs to be done on my part, and like I said, those questions need to go to the attorney to protect us in the end of the, lack of better words, show on the Titzer property. So, any other questions on that one? All right, so Ira Wilson's, all right. I give you guys sort of the draft little letter that I gave him, or we're going to give him. I've got the pictures of the property itself you guys can take a look at. In there, it actually says which of the town ordinance that violates. So if you want to look at that one, that's just sort of the overall page.
I thought I saw pictures.
Yeah. And you got the pictures, and then on the back where it actually says the final notice of violation. So this was just the general part we sent them, and then the actual final notice of the violations with the pictures of those. One that I did not notice until I went up there the other day was the mattress in the backyard behind the barn.
Is this shed, is that behind the mower, is that theirs or the father's, his father's property?
That I can't define, and find, because there's a property line, but I don't know where that property line is.
So I think that's an issue too.
So if it's, but like I said, if he comes back and tells us it's not on his property line, you know what I mean, we can hand it over to his dad. So it's already, you know what I mean, start somewhere. So what it is, town ordinance 2015-7-18-1, you know what I mean? And then our town ordinance, 1-19-17-05. And then of course the Indiana's, excuse me, we adopted the Indiana Code 36-7-9. Which was dated 20 March 2004. So those are the three violations in town that he's going against. And then, like I said, current non-complaint conditions with the photos documented. Garage overhang, front roof area, the overhead roof awning area shows visible holes. Deterioration, creating a risk of falling debris, structural failure, in an area where persons may walk, stand, or work. The barn exterior wall openings, the barn structure has holes, opening exterior wall surfaces, allowing weather exposure and uncontrolled access. And then the barn roof failure collapse. The barn roof shows structural failure and a partial collapse, indicating compromised structural integrity and the risk of further collapse. So, and it's, the barn sets right there on the town alley. So,
does that site that you look at, that I think it's, you always say GE or.
Posey County
Yeah.
GIS.
GIS,
Mhm.
does it show where the property line is?
It does. But like I said, it doesn't show you a picture of the buildings. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a Google map,
but if it's,
basically.
I didn't know, if you said it said on the alley, so.
Well, I just noticed that one in the picture.
Mhm.
So if it does fall, it can also fall into one of the electric poles, also if it falls. So, and like I said, and that, it says he's got 30 days to either tell us a plan, clean it up, or we're gonna pass it over to the attorney. So. And that's the way the ordinance sort of runs by our words.
As far as the updates on the other letters, Ernie has given us a plan.
Yep.
Harold Farrar has given us a plan.
Yep.
So I feel like those two can really fall off now until they would not meet their plan expectations.
Fetchers can come off because he did fix the garage door. I don't think it opens, but it has been back out. You know what I mean? So it does close off the garage. So the fetcher met the requirements on that one. Of course, Banger is off. You know what I mean? He's not completely off until he does what he told me to.
Yeah, I'll leave him on until
yeah,
he does.
we
But
leave
do
him
you
on.
wanna tell them what he's gonna do?
Interact, yeah. We talked about it at the last meeting. Andrew had called me when he got the letter, and he
No, we
decided.
didn't talk about it at the meeting.
Oh, we didn't? I thought
He
we did.
called you after, like 3 days after the meeting.
All right. So Andrew Banger called me, asking me about the letter itself. He lives over near Harrisburg, Illinois. They use it for oil businesses and things like that as an address. And he's more than willing this spring to come and tear the house down. So, and then, he said he leveled the yard out after he tore the house down. He needs it as an address.
What
So-
was really the issue with that one? Just the weeds?
The weeds and stuff like
grass?
that. And what,
Mm-hmm.
the tree limbs, also the shed in the back. The house also has structural issues because of the siding on the south side is off the house itself. So water is going into the structure of the house itself. The notice didn't cover all that. What he did tell me, he was paying Adrian to come down and mow and stuff like that, which I never saw him do that.
He did. He
So-
did, but he just mowed around the limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd take him 5 minutes, but he did.
Yeah. So like I said, he called me, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was just a notice. He called me and said this spring he'll come and tear the house down. So,
With him and Farrar giving us a plan as well, do you wanna take them off and then?
no, because we
you
still
wanna
have to
keep following
monitor.
up?
Got to still monitor.
What about Alicia?
I'm gonna talk on that when I go.
She got
Okay.
the,
I didn't
the
see her
letter.
name here, so I was asking.
yeah, she got
It's
the
on
letter
the,
for that one. Is there any other questions on the Titcher
Johnson
property?
Jones, that's what
for
it
you
was
guys?
listed on
Oh,
the paper.
That's all
okay.
we need to do.
I was thinking Wallace.
Well,
Yeah.
I think.
We're sort of
my
neutral
thing-
until the judge signs and,
Well, I think I have something that can go toward the end.
okay. All right, you go with the Titcher property stuff, Judy?
I'm sorry,
You go with the Titcher property stuff?
I went over it, yeah.
Okay, we're good. All right. We're still on the Ira Wilson update.
Mhm.
So like I said, as of right now, he's gotten the notice, even though he says he didn't get it. Didn't get the certified letter. If you notice on the thing, also on the very back of the sheet, on that, I'm gonna take this up to his house, right? The day I sign it, I'm gonna sign it, and I'm gonna post it on the property in a conspicuous location, his front door. And then sign it on that day, so we have documentation. And then I'll turn it into Heather for town record. I took it up to his house, so. So he will
Is
get
that,
it.
okay, well, I'm just wondering if they can argue, well, we didn't get it because the wind may
Yeah.
have blew that day and it
Yep.
blew away.
So we're still gonna send it through the mail.
Certified too?
Yeah, we're gonna still
Okay,
send it through the
okay,
mail, you know what I mean? And then I'm also, cause
Okay.
we had the same problem,
Maybe you can take a picture of
Another
it once you
pathway. Oh, I
attach it
will.
to the front door. Mhm.
I will.
Well, in the new business, we have a process that we're gonna discuss for
Yeah.
ordinance violations.
So, and like I said, this is this sort of, and also if you guys like the template, you know what I mean, sort of built off of too, so you guys can take a look at that and see if you want any changes to that template that we can use in the future. So I'm trying to keep this like a form template that we can put online with everything, so. So you guys can take it, do that with that. Like I said, we've talked about Johnson, I want to go ahead and talk about the Johnson and Jones real quick.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming she would have watched the videos, or someone maybe did tell her, because that address that we mailed hers to, it did not go there. That's not her address. It is, as you stated, it was correct, 300 South Main.
Right.
Or North Main, I'm sorry, I apologize. But somehow she knew because she sent the town an email. Sorry, I gotta find hers. So her, in response to apparent unsafe and sanitary conditions, one, There is no trash located on the front porch. There is an unopened box of storage totes and chewy boxes containing cat litter, 4 rocking chairs and a table I am unable to haul off until spring. 2, all contents of front porch are located in unopened containers that are neither unclean or unsanitary. 3, per the definition, clutter and exposed waste create severe public health hazards, including pest infestations, rodents, insects, the spread of diseases, bacteria, viruses, parasites, and poor indoor air quality, leading to respiratory issues like asthma. These environments increase risk of falls, fires, and structural damage, while exposed waste causes environmental contamination, including water pollution and toxic air. My front porch meets none of the above criteria. The clearing of my front porch leading to my front door is clear of clutter and several feet on either side of the door. Therefore, it is not obstructing access to my home. As for falls, no one should be on my front porch. I have not invited anyone to be on the front porch of my private residence, nor is anyone welcome. My front porch clutter, in quotation marks, is no higher than the sides of my porch. Therefore, it does not have any effect on the adjoining properties. I work 50 to 80 hours plus per week, plus taking my children to multiple activities. If you would like to come work my schedule or run my children, I would happily fix everything on the porch. However, we know that isn't going to happen, so it will be handled when I have time. Wishing you the day you deserve.
All right, quick answer on that. We know what's in the boxes now. So, I mean, we can't go up there and confirm, you know, what I mean, that is cat litter in all those boxes. But that's what she provided as evidence in the letter that that's boxes of cat litter on her front porch. The rocking chairs, yes, they're there. They're absolutely fine. But she did respond to the letter, so I'm okay with taking her off the list, you know what I mean? If it is cat litter, then, but we can't go up there and see if it's cat litter, but that's the evidence she
Well, I think our
provided to us.
issue was though, it's clutter.
Yes.
It's just like
It's a nuisance.
the other things. So the issue is not being handled.
Yeah.
So we're not getting anywhere with her.
So on the second one, we send her a letter saying that I will come up there on a weekend of her choice on a Saturday, and I will help her remove the items off her front porch. So I think
Can
that's how
we-
we answer that letter.
Okay,
And I hope that is cat litter in those boxes.
so
Well, I don't know, when cat litter gets wet and the box is wet and it
Mhm.
comes out. and
It
all
turns
stuff,
into a
I mean,
mess.
can't it be a potential hazard?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So like I
I
said,
guess you could go that route.
Yeah.
too, so.
yes, our answer will be
Well, if it is,
that I volunteered to come up here because she can't do it till spring. Myself and my son can come up here and help her clean the porch off. So we'll send her a letter for that.
well, if it is old cat litter and it's old,
no, she's
Cat-
saying she hasn't used it yet.
Yeah.
She'll
oh,
take
it's
it in
that's
when
what I'm
she,
saying.
new
New
cat
cat
litter.
litter.
yeah, she'll
Yeah.
take it in when she needs it.
Yeah.
That's how she does that and her food.
So we can move it to her barn for her.
So it's
Jeez.
possible it could be new and it's possible it could be,
We have no
Oh.
idea. We have no, it's a perception. We have no idea at this time. But we'll send her a letter saying that I'll volunteer at the time of her choosing to come and remove it off her front porch for her and put it in her barn. So see how that goes.
So, okay. I'll wait till we get to the new
I have a
business to
limit for
discuss
that. All right, now let's see, so that's everybody besides the stuff that I gave you guys earlier. Okay, so we got a letter back from Joanne. Let me get my stuff here. Okay, looking over the town ordinance for unsafe buildings. All right, while I read this, I want you guys to take a look at these pictures. All right. So in 36-7-9-4, because in our letter she said that she has nothing that connects the two together. All right. So 36-7-9-4 is unsafe building and unsafe premises described, right? For purposes of this chapter, a building or structure or any part of building or structure that is an impaired structural condition that makes it unsafe to a person or a property. All right. So it becomes a fire hazard, a hazard to the public health, public nuisance, dangerous to a person or property because of violation of a statute or ordinance concerning building condition or maintenance, or vacant and not maintained in a manner that would allow human habitation, occupancy, or use under the requirements of a statute or an ordinance. Okay? Now, so that's what it basically tells you. Now, when you go back here and look and the rest of it, 36.7-9-4.5, the vacant structure in Indiana, especially in urban areas, there exists a large number of unoccupied structures that are not maintained and that constitute a hazard to public health, safety, and welfare. Vacant structures often become dilapidated because the structures are not maintained or repaired by the owners or persons in control of the structures. Vacant structures attract children, become harbors for vermin, serve as a temporary abode for vagrants and criminals, and likely be damaged by vandals or set ablaze by arsonists. Unkept ground surrounding vacant structures invite dumping of garbage, trash, and other debris. Many vacant structures are situated on narrow city lots and in close proximity to neighboring structures, thereby increasing the risk of congregation and spread of instinct and rodent infestation. Vacant deteriorated structures contribute to blight, cause a decrease in property values, and discourage neighbors from making improvements to properties. Structures that remain boarded up for an extended period of time also exert a blight influence and contribute to the decline of the neighborhood by decreasing property values, discouraging persons from moving into the neighborhood, and encourage persons to move out of the neighborhood. All right, so those are the big ones on there. And if you go back to the order of the notice itself, sealing an unsafe building against intrusion by unauthorized persons in accordance with a uniform standard established by ordinance, and removal of trash, debris, or fire hazardous material in and about the unsafe premises, and requiring for an unsafe building that will be sealed for a period of more than 90 days. All right. Now, if you look at the pictures, get my exhibits out here. There's two sets of exhibits. I'm gonna go straight to the first one, so we can talk through those.
Oh, you got a number, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look at number one on the back side, right, there is no gutter system on the building itself, and there's trash piling between the two buildings. The barn itself, which are in her letter to the town board, said that she would tear down, right? Of course, the roof is completely gone off of it, and the building structure is collapsing, all right? But if you look at the old garage door on the back, that form around it is rotted out, right? So that means that structural wall on the back side is starting to collapse. All right. And like I said, no gutter system on the back of it. So that water is running straight down the backward structure of the building. All right. On page 2, that tractor's been there for a long time, and there's a pressurized tank sitting next to the building that we have no idea what's in that tank. We don't know if it's empty. We can't go on the property itself, right? So we don't know if that tank is pressurized, how long it's been back there. When you also look at that on page 3, same thing. I don't know if those are acetylene tanks. I don't know if those are gas tanks. They've been back there for a long time.
They're old propane, like
Oh, could be old propane.
old propane tanks that used to have at the house or whatever.
Yeah, but we have no way of knowing what's in them, if they're full or not. So they compromise a danger. All right. So they've got to have something to do with that. All right. Photo number 4, right? When you look at your window sills on your buildings, right? They're all rotten out, which tells you what? Rain gets in there, goes down the primary walls of itself, and starts to destroy the structure of the wall itself. That isn't brick on the side of that building. That is just vinyl on the outside of it. All right. So they need to fix the windows. Photo number 5, that tree, which when you look, I noticed in the end, in exhibit number 2, branches fell off this tree and fell onto the roof itself. That tree limb now sits on the corner underneath the old garage door where the structure is starting to fail. And that tree is hollow on the inside and could end up going down on not on Main Street, but the secondary street next to Farrar's house. So that is another failure in the Indiana code. All right. Photo number 6, once again, they said the windows were boarded up. Yeah, that's just a piece of paneling on the window that's pulled away from the frame. So we know all the weather is going inside the building itself. Photo number 7 is out in the front. It's an old turkey fryer grease that's sitting out there on the sidewalk. Where it come from, I have no idea. All right, so now going to exhibit number 2. I don't know if this has electric to this building or not, but there is a code there. So I don't know if we need to contact the electric company because that is definitely a hazard.
Talking about the main
Meter on the front of the building,
main building or the one out back.
the one in the front of the building.
It has electric.
So we may want to follow up with that because that is definitely a fire hazard and that's definitely an Indiana code. Photo number 10, like I said, they said the windows are boarded up, but that's plywood, and those windows aren't boarded up. Those are wide open. So, once again, window on the front is busted out, and they have a piece of plywood, and I'm not really for sure what that is. A plastic table over one window, and the glass is cracked. On the north side, another window frame is rotted out. Oh, and then the very last page is the tree limb on top of the back of the building. So those are our exhibits for the lawyer, right? Because in the letters, we've gotten 2 responses back from her. We got one from Joanne asking us to contact her sons, and then we got another letter from Amanda Nelson. So I'm gonna read you guys the letter. So this is the one we need to send to the attorney. It which talks about the history of the building itself. All right, which is also in your stuff. All right, so the town acknowledges the receipt of Miss Nelson's correspondence dated January 20, 2026, which references Indiana Code 36-7-9. Notice requirements and outlines proposed refinements. This letter is provided to 1, document the receipt, 2, request clarifying information, need to coordinate next steps, and 3, establish a clear verifiable path to address public safety and nuisance risks. All right. Step number 1 is please confirm in writing whether you represent Miss Nelson and or the owner of record for the reference properties for purpose in this matter. If you look up Indiana law, I cannot contact. Her name is the name on the property itself, right? The lawyer can, he's the lawyer, we can contact him. Unless the sons come to the meeting and talk, you know what I mean? We can listen to them, but I cannot contact them through mail and with correspondence direct. All right. So I'm asking here if he does represent the owner, right? And he needs to provide a single primary point of contact himself for inspection coordination and compliance communications, and advise if your representation is limited in scope. It's a negotiation only. So we need to know what his rule that Joanne's given to him, so we know how to pass forward with it. All right. Also, Ms. Nelson's letter requests that future correspondence be directed to her sons. The town or any county enforcement authority must continue to serve notices to the owner of record and or any other legally required parties, which would be the lawyer. The town will copy additional receipts as a courtesy, so we will mail them. We won't do a certified, we will mail them the letters. Or this, all right. If ownership has changed, Mrs. Nelson is no longer the owner of records. Please provide records of the documentation, right? Doesn't have to be in deed transfer under recorded instrument, but Posey County government needs to know because it's on her name's on the property card. So if she's given to the sons, then we need her to notify us. So Posey County can be notified. All right. So clarification on proposed actions. She listed 3 proposed actions. All right. To ensure these statements translate into measurable progress, please provide within 30 business days a dated compliance plan that identifies each action item, start date, completion date, and responsible party. If removal of a structure is proposed, identify the structure by address, parcel, and provide the anticipated permit path, contractor plan, and target completion date. And she also said that she wanted the town survey in her letter. I think she may have mistyped that, but she did want the entire town surveyed. So I'm asking for clarification on this. In this letter, if a land survey is proposed, she needs to provide the surveyor's name, company, anticipated survey dates, and a specific boundary question being addressed. Please note that boundary determination does not delay interim safety measurements. So I can't stop the safety side of this because of the survey. So, all right, then we go into the historic preservation claim. So I contacted everybody in Indiana that I could find on the internet. I did find one instance on the Historic Society that says it is compliant with it. Here it is. If you guys want to look with me here. So it's called the SHARD. I don't know what the acronym actually stands for, but it's a county survey. It was done when Miss Andrew wrote her book. And the rating on the building itself is known as contributing, which means it's not historic, right? It's just contributing to a book. So I had to get that clarification is, huh?
Who's Andrea?
It says here in the paperwork I give you guys.
And who, I mean, so this lady's saying it's not historic.
No, the Indiana government is.
Cause she said in her letter that she had been in contact with the historic.
And I think she has.
Yep. So,
And I think
Yep.
they're looking into it.
yeah, so as
Yeah.
we finish reading, you know what I mean? I'm just sort of keeping
Yeah,
everybody
okay.
up on the same thing. So what I found evidence wise was it's just contributing to a book, you know what I mean? And any of the historical sites. So
What does
that's
it say
what,
New Harmony there?
that's,
Bethel Township, Posey County, but
yeah,
it says New Harmony.
that's how it is made in the Indiana government.
Hmm.
So when they put it in for the book, you know what I mean? That's what
That's
they
how
put
they
it in
put
for. So, all right, so off of that, right? So Ms. Nelson indicates coordination with historic preservation entity regarding the Stinson hardware store. Historic significance may be considered in parallel. However, it does not suspend required actions to abate unsafe conditions, secure the premises, and reduce hazards, particularly where the structure has been unused and used for storage. All right, so the section title, this is where we start getting into the historic stuff. The town reviewed available historic resource documentation for the subject parcel, including the Indiana Historic Survey extract, identifying the property at 100 North Main Street, and the survey number is a long number. All right, historically known as the Stinson and Gibson hardware and rated as a contributing resource within the registered National Historic Landmark, the survey inventory. The same record also indicates that destination fields, if you keep on going down, that designate fields for national registered, state registered, national historic landmarks, local designation, and protective covenants are not affirmatively shown in provided extract. So it was put in the Indiana County Survey for the book itself. It's never been
Historical site.
an historical site.
No, it's never been deemed
Right.
a historical
Yeah,
site.
deemed, it's a key word, all right? So based on the record currently before the town, the survey classifications recognized as evidence of an historic context. However, absent confirmed listing, designation, or local ordinance trigger, the town's concurrent enforcement proceeds under applicable zoning, building, safety, unsafe premises, and nuisance property maintenance authorities. If any party provides official documentation establishing active historic designation and a specific review requirements, the town will incorporate those requirements in the compliance path, consistent with government law. All right. So like I said, I've done our due diligence trying to figure out what it is. So she's getting this from us saying, if she can get it registered, right, then we will play the historical roles with it. But we still cannot abate the safety issues with the building. And no historic society is going to do that, right, until they get what needs to be fixed to the building itself. All right. And a lot of the historic societies help them do that. So, and that's just my research over the last month on that one. All right. So provide within 30 business days, give them, that's the Indiana ordinance, right? Specific destination being claimed, local landmark, state inventory, national register listing, historic district, and supporting documentation or reference listing that number. All right. The historic preservation points of contact, who they contacted, right? And case reference number for that, and a brief scope and timeline on what is being pursued. Is the building being stabilized? Is it being rehabilitated? Or is the state telling them to demolition it? Including interim safety measures. Those are the 4 pathways you can do on a historic society here in the state of Indiana. So, and then of course, to the attorney version, the town acknowledges the parcel's documented historic survey significance while expressly reserving all enforcement rights under non-historic power authorities. Survey inclusion alone does not waive, stay, or preclude enforcement under applicable safety. So basically saying we're still moving forward with the safety problems until the historic society, you know, says stop. It is a thing, and we are handling. So, all right. And this just sort of gives you a summary of what's on the pictures, the exhibits for them to follow. The severe exterior duration of the siding, multiple broken, missing, and boarded windows openings, apparent roofline distress, and potential structural loading from adjacent fallen trees sections, potential glass and debris hazards, standing water and foundation perimeter areas because it has no gutters, and potential electrical safety concern at exterior meter enclosure area due to deterioration and moisture exposure. All right, so a possible legal code frameworks for this is the Indiana Building Code, which is the town ordinance, right? But also, when you really start digging into it, Indiana adopted building fire code, because we don't know what's in the tanks, right? Also, the electric meter that's outside, and if there is electric going into that building and there's water going down that wall, it is now a fire hazard. So that's Indiana Title 675 IAC. And then the last one is applicable local property maintenance and dangerous building ordinance provision. That's our stuff. All right. All right. So minimum interim safety measures. These aren't optional. All right. Independent of long-term repair preservation discussions, the following interim measures are expected to reduce immediate risk. Secure all the doors and windows openings against unauthorized entry and weather intrusion. These are non-optional. Functional lockable doors and intact glazing are code compliant securing methods. They can't just go up there and put a piece of paneling up on a window. Doesn't work. All right. And they can find all under Indiana code. Reduce hazard storage, debris, and remove obvious combustibles that elevate fire load and nuisance impacts. The pressurized tanks in the back. All right. Cut back overgrowth, the tree that's about to collapse, and maintain grounds to reduce pest harbage and improve safety and access. All right. This goes to the attorney, inspection coordination to move this matter forward efficiently. Please provide at least proposed date times within the next 30 days for an on-site inspection. If interior access is not granted, observations will be limited to exterior conditions and publicly accessible areas, which we've already done, right? And enforcement decisions may proceed based on available evidence. That's our part ones and parts two. So that's more towards the lawyer. Coordination with Posey County, because the reference properties are in an incorporated area of Posey County, formal unsafe building code, Indiana code, including inspections, findings, orders, hearings, any cost recovery mechanisms, which we're playing through. This will hand over to our attorney. Is basically what that's telling. And that reserves all rights under the Indiana code in number 9. And please direct any responses to me. So, and that's the letter that needs to go to the lawyer, certified, and the letter certified to the land. And then the other 3 letters. Yep, certified to her letter, so we know he gets it. And a certified letter to her, knowing that she gets it. And then regular mail to Sydney Nelson and Jason Nelson.
It was probably about November of last year. They were up there hauling stuff out, and I know they had electric up there at that time.
Yeah.
Now, they might have cut it off since then.
Yeah.
But at that time, they did have electric in the building.
We don't know, and that's why I'm asking the lawyer in there, you know what I mean, to give us, they need somebody to come in here and check that out now, because it falls under the Indiana Fire Hazard Code. So that's where we're with that one. That's long and drawn out. Like I said, you guys have the stuff, you know what I mean? Take a look at it and let me know what you guys think. And once you give us a thumbs up, then we'll certify the letters.
So you wanna wait till they give you a thumbs up, or, I mean,
Honestly, we can't. We need to get it sent out now because of the fire safety issues, and the lawyers involved. So we need to get it to the lawyer. Like I said, we can't decide anything until the lawyer actually gets a survey down here of the building itself. Because we can't go in the building.
Well, it does catch on fire. There is a lot of plastic in that building.
And we, like I said, we don't know what's in the building. I can't go perception on that. That's why I'm asking in the letter for the lawyer to get a survey of the building. So we know what's inside the building. So, and then further actions will be taken from there.
Good on all the letters?
Yeah, I'm good on all
Any
that.
questions?
Well, I mean, you've got everything documented, you've got the pictures and then, and the description of the pictures and what the
And what
picture
codes they go
represent,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, you did good work on that.
So, yeah,
Next thing is Ed from the Posey County Commissions, was supposed to come and look at 3 properties for septic. Do you know he did, or do you
Yes,
have anything on that?
I called Posey County Health, Libby is her first name that I talked to, cause we got the call, Adrian was pumping his stuff, and he was, out in his yard. But he did check the septic system itself. They contacted the sister, because the sister is the property owner of the house. And said the septic system is fine. He overreacted because all septic systems raised to the top, and he started pumping it out because he thought it was full. This was just a conversation with Libby down at the health department. Now I did not get an update on the other two though from Ed. I just got the one from Libby, and that's the only information she had at the time.
Okay.
But yes, he was pumping out in his yard. But there's nothing wrong with the septic tank is within.
Why was you having the other two inspected? What was your?
That wasn't me.
Somebody else called. on
Yeah.
That wasn't him.
That wasn't me.
You don't know who.
I just
who
know.
the properties are.
She could not tell me who it was
Okay.
because I wasn't the one that made the phone call.
Okay.
I was the one that made the phone call on Adrian, and I was following up with that. During that conversation, though, she said there was two other ones being checked in town, but she could not give me the information because I was not the one. Even though I told her I was on the council, she cannot give me that information because I did not make the phone call.
Yeah, because I don't think legally they can just go on a property and
No.
check a septic.
Well,
They have to have valid reason
Correct.
to suspect.
Yep, and she
And
can't
then-
provide me with information
And
unless
then
I'm the
Ed
one
is the
that
one that
initiated.
comes and inspects
Yeah.
it, that they and they have to give the owner 10 days notice that they're gonna come. So,
Yeah, I'm
so
not
I
for sure
don't,
on that.
I don't either, but
But we wouldn't really know if they called those owners, the Bells
No.
or that lady that lives beside you, because they haven't told us.
And like I said, the only reason I knew is because I was the one that called on Adrian. You know what I
Well,
mean? And then called
I
and
would
checked up on
know
that.
if they called 128 because their septic's on our property. So I would know that.
Okay. Yeah, but like I said, she could not give me that information because I did not make the phone call. So even though, you know, I said, hey, I'm the council, the conversation turned into the other two, of course, you know what I mean? Said Ed's going down there for the two other ones, you know what I mean? He's gonna stop by Adrian's, and that's how that whole conversation went down. So unless you make the phone call itself and you put in the issue, they are not allowed to give you the information on it. So like I said, I don't know who made the original phone call with the other two addresses. So I only know the one on Adrian, and like I said, he was doing something wrong. They contacted the sister, but he did check the septic system itself, and it's absolutely within
Good.
in the law. So he just needs to stop pumping it out in one basis. So,
Well, I think the main thing, he don't realize that you need to treat that system,
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He
you
does.
know, and that stops a lot of that, you know, it
Yeah.
builds up the
Apparently,
solids builds up in there, and that's what, you know, that's what.
apparently he done it
sets a lot of
before.
it off,
About
so.
30. Coming back to the conversation on the phone, he done it 3 or 4 years ago. Same
I've been Walter
situation.
before
Yeah.
that too.
I'm just going off the top of my
Yeah.
head on the phone conversation because I just didn't write anything down. Just listened to it. It was good, and then just had a conversation with the lady. So, but like I said, the other two, like I said, it was just the conversation. I was not allowed any of the information to it. So, what else? I've already missed my sheet.
There was discussion of a letter to 128 South Main Street. You told me to go ahead and draw one up based off of the others that we had done. So I kind of want to jump ahead if everybody's in agreement, because I would want to discuss that process for the ordinance violation.
Whose house is this?
This is the one,
Gloria
Gloria and Edgar
Edgar
Simmons.
property.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're over our window on that one.
so is everybody okay if I jump ahead on that? So as to kind of what listening in the recording and then, listening to people that was here last month, and then some of the other things that council had said, is I just came up with this. We do not have to go by it, but I do know as the bookkeeper that we have so much money in postage and everything else, and certified letters are about $10 and some change each time we send a certified letter. So this is just something I thought up, and I typed it out just kind of so everybody could see it. If you want, again, it's nothing formal, it's just something I typed up to discuss. But one would be that the first time that we discussed something in here, that we would go and talk to the homeowner. And again, I come from healthcare, so I do agree with Nathan that if nothing is documented, it didn't happen. Kind of like Julie was saying with, who's to say if we hang a letter on their door that they're gonna be like, well, I didn't get that because there's nothing. But on the second page, I have a little letter that we would take with us when we would go to their house, that they would sign that on that date, we were there.
Which goes off the template that I just put up. It's easy to change that over on the template that I made to take down to Iris.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just
continue.
so that they are signing that you were there that day, that we're not actually just leaving something on their door.
Right.
We speak to them in person, give them 30 days.
They have
In
to realize
30
that first
days-
is a notice. That, I think it's where we got confused in the very beginning. It's just a notice.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It says that's telling them.
but I
clean
think
stuff.
it was that we were sending it certified is where some people were asking. So then in 30 days, if they did nothing, then at that point we would send a letter. 30 days after that, we would send a certified. That basically gives them 60 days to kind of come up with a plan, start working on it before we start sinking money
I
into
think
it.
that's what we were sort of doing, isn't it? Was like
Mhm.
Wilson's, we sent them a regular one.
Yeah, just a
And
notice.
then The only problem with this is catching people at home, for them to get to sign this with you. I say you can mail them a letter and maybe have something that they acknowledge they have received of the letter and mail back to us, and if we don't hear anything, then.
That, and like I said, picture, it, you know, when we knock on the door, they're not there, put it on the door, take a picture of it, and then bring it in here to the meeting. You know what I mean? Sort of like what I'm doing with these pictures.
Okay, but
as
I'm gonna
reference.
go back to, okay, we put it on the door, who's not gonna say, we take a picture of it, but who's gonna say, someone don't go and take that off before they get the,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? A thousand things can happen.
Yeah, that's why I'm,
Where they can come back on us and say, no, we never received the letter, we don't know what happened to it. So, I mean, I think this is good to start with, and maybe have them just sign something and mail it back that they received it. They don't mail it back within the time, then you send them a certified. But I
Okay.
think it's really hard.
even we're
to
not getting
catch
them
people.
letters,
It
even
is.
the signatures from the certifieds. I mean, half of those that we did, we didn't get anything back on. So I mean, they're not even acknowledging the certifieds.
First of all, we need to write this as an ordinance, then take it to the attorney. The attorney's the only one that
Attorney
can,
will have to draw up the
the
ordinance.
ordinance, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna draw it up, and then take it down and drop it off for him to have him look at it. But if we're sort of good with this, I'm gonna write it up and email it to you guys. You guys can take a look at it on email, and then I can take it down to him. You know what I mean? You can tell me what changes you want to change it, because like I said, it's sort of an informal ordinance writing. And then take, because the attorney's the one that officially writes it, and then I can take it down to the attorney and have him write it up. And like I said, we can always make, that's revision 1. We may change it in 4 months from now, you know what I mean? Be revision 2, because we found any new system is always gonna have a gap in it. It's always gonna have a problem with it in the beginning, which is where we're at now.
Mhm.
We're looking at it and trying to fill those gaps right now. So I'll type this up, email it to you guys. You guys sort of tear it apart, right? I'll draw it up again, then I'll take it down to Adam and have him officially write it up.
And then we have
Attorney.
to, vote on it, and then it's gotta
Yep.
be published in the newspaper twice
Yep, before it becomes
before it can become formal.
so. And so that's how we'll do this one. But if you guys see any notes on there now, though, go ahead and give me some notes before I start typing it. But like I said, I'll send you guys an email on it, so.
All right, so I do have the letter to 128 South Main. Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Basically that,
Give them a notice.
it's Stevie Linton, Litton, that's on that site. That's on the property owner. So the Indiana code is the 36-7-93.
Yep.
The town of Griffin has visually observed that the front and backyard at 128 South Main Street appears to meet the statutory definition of an unsafe premise under Indiana law. No formal inspection has been conducted. All observations were made from public streets and adjacent as accessible areas. apparent unsafe, unsanitary conditions. One, a large accumulation of trash and debris around the home. Two, unclean and unsanitary conditions creating possible pest rodent attractions. Three, public health concerns due to cluttering and exposed waste. Four, nuisance conditions affecting adjoining properties and the general appearance of the neighborhood. Action requested within 30 days. Within 30 days of receiving this certified notice, you are requested to remove all trash, debris, and accumulated waste from surrounding exterior areas. Ensure that materials are properly.
We got one change on that.
Okay.
When you were doing the laws, right? The town ordinance that really falls under is 2015
Hold on.
-7 -18
Hold on.
-100,001,750. It's ordinance number 215-7-18-1. And it's actually titled an ordinance to abate nuisances,
Mhm.
weeds, and rank vegetation. So make sure that's on there.
So I'll put that in there. Now, do you want this to be mailed or do you want it certified? Either mail or certified? Cause I need to change that wording if we're just gonna mail it, I'm not gonna say certified.
What are we, we're saying here in this process of property ordinance violations? Go to location and meet home property owner. Alright, so I need to take it up to him on the first time. We go ahead and follow this. Yeah, but like I said, if not, then you know, what I mean, next
Yeah.
month we go to step 2, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I say, I've been here for the last 3 weeks, I can't get it, I'll take it down to you and
I can go
tell
ahead
you
and
to
mail it.
mail it certified. And then we'll come to the next meeting saying, hey, I knocked on this guy 10 times, didn't work out, we emailed him last
And
week.
it's a girl.
A girl, okay.
Probably like evening hours be best.
Evening.
Mm.
Okay. So that's how we'll start following this.
So I guess, is her name Stevie?
Yes. it
Oh,
is.
okay.
So like I said, we'll follow this. And like I said, I'll try 5 times, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't work, then I'll tell you certified mail.
Okay. And then I just kind of did like, remove all the trash, debris, accumulated waste from surrounding exterior areas, ensure the materials are properly disposed of through lawful means, maintain the yard in a clean, sanitary and orderly condition going forward. If you believe the premises is not unsafe, provide written documentation or photographs showing that the situation has been remedied or does not constitute an unsafe, unsanitary condition. Failure to respond, if no response is received within 30 days, or if the conditions remain uncorrected, the town may initiate a formal unsafe building premises order under Indiana Code 36-7-9-5, including a formal hearing, a written order requiring cleanup or abatement, potential cleanup by the town with associated costs placed as a lien on the property. This letter serves as an official preliminary notice and an opportunity for voluntary compliance before formal enforcements begin. The town's next board meeting is Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 at Griffin Fire Station at 6 p.m. You are welcome to attend and bring any questions or concerns before the board.
Now, did you have just the trash and stuff, or did you have structures on that too? Cause
We've
the
got both.
house,
That the Indiana code's on there,
okay.
first, and then I had her put on the,
Cause
the
the
nuisance
house and
ordinance.
there's 2
Yep.
behind.
Yeah, originally it was just the structure
Very
side, you know what I mean? But I just had her put on the nuisance on there, so.
No,
both are on
she's asking if the structure, I don't have anything for structure on
The
there.
Indiana code's on there, right? For
The
structure,
dash, 36-7-93.
that's Indiana building code.
So do you want me to mention anything about the structure? I haven't been on, I mean,
Not
I've
on the-
seen from the front, but I don't know like what.
Not on, it'd be more, like I said, let's try this conversation piece first, you know what I mean? And then if we have to make a changes, that'll be on the certified letter with pictures and images with it. So let's try and follow our little list that we've created here.
Okay.
And let me talk with her, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't work, then we go with the next step with a 30-day certified letter and notification. So,
Okay, well, she had about the trash and stuff on there, so that's why I
yeah,
was asking.
yeah, and that's why I had her put on the nuisance ordinance on that one. And then the last one on town, you go with that?
Mm-hmm.
220 Main Street there by the post office. That family moved out, Saturday.
That's Bell property,
Is that
right?
the Bell property?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so looking at the property card, bank down in Florida owns that house. So I shot them an email saying people have moved out of the house has got trash all over the place. And what is your guys' process for cleaning up your property is basically how the email wrote out. I have not got a response from them yet. As soon as I get what they're gonna do,
There was someone there this afternoon taking pictures.
was there? Okay,
Yeah, and they had a lot of trash bags, stuff like that out on the front porch where they looked like they were taking stuff out.
okay.
No, that's been there.
Well,
No,
it's-
these here were new ones. I
But
mean,
to close this,
I knew there was some out there, but
close
there
this
was
out.
a lot more out there.
hang on, guys.
Yeah.
Let's just close it out. We can have the conversation. So like I said, I've contacted the bank, right, who owns the property itself. Notified who I was, you know what I mean, and our process of ordinance where the trash and stuff like that, that they're, you know, not within regulation. Like I said, I haven't got a response back, but it sounds like we're getting a response back from already. I'll have to go back and see on my email if I got something after I last checked it, so.
Okay.
Other
Good.
than that,
Noise ordinance.
yes, all right.
We need to, get an ordinance for noise in town.
Okay.
And I understand we are incorporated, so we get no help from the county.
Right.
They can't enforce anything here because we're incorporated, that we can do our own ordinance ourselves
Okay,
about noise. And we can do things like we can establish quiet hours. We can, it's not feasible for us to do the decibel limits because you have to buy it.
yeah, we got,
Machine
a couple of
and
months ago, we
everything.
talked about that, it's
We
expensive.
can have, we can do fines and citations. You can do it for things as revving up.
Okay,
You can do it for booming, their radio being too loud. If they can hear something 50 feet away, someone can hear something 50 feet away, or it vibrates 50 feet away. We have every right as a town to do our own ordinance, and we can and find fines. You document, and a lot of people in town have got evidence of things that's gone on in town by cameras, by videos. And this stuff needs to stop. Because it's not getting any better.
okay, so let's take a look at that there. We need to find some examples. Once again, this is sort of way above my law ability, you know what I mean? You are correct, there are other places that have these types of ordinances and mechanisms. We need to do a little bit of research in those and see how they do it, you know what I mean? That way we got a better start than,
Well.
does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with you, something needs to be done.
I don't believe that it's just happening at one end of the town.
No, it's not.
It's happening all over the town. It's
Mhm.
happening, of course, we don't have jurisdiction outside the town limits,
But
but
that's
it's
where it starts.
happening out in the country too. Continental Camp they say they are revving up and throwing parties, and of course, we can't do anything about that. But, I don't believe boys will be boys, and I don't believe, kids just want to have fun. I mean, these kids are, what? What?
Within a soul.
What?
Within a soul. What you said, boys just want to have fun. And Madonna sing that song.
Oh, I don't.
Sorry.
I don't
There was
listen
a
to
light, there was a
Madonna.
light bulb thing in my head, sorry.
I don't listen to Madonna.
Sorry,
But I mean, it's got to the point when they drive down the street and every window in your house shakes. I mean, that's uncalled for. The rubbing up at all hours of the night is uncalled
now, one thing we did sort of talk about, a couple of months ago, is we need to look into, where most of that falls under the old town marshal kind of thing.
for.
But we never really looked into that, and the cost of that would be, if we want to go with like quiet hours, you know, what I mean, I'm just throwing numbers, these don't match anything, but say quiet hours is at 10 o'clock to 6 in the morning, you know what I mean? If there is a way of getting the cost, of course, we have to look into a marshal down here on certain unknown days, unknown nights, unknown times.
Well,
You know what I
I talked to Jody Rankin with
Mhm.
Poseyville.
Poseville,
And at the time I had asked her, would they consider, maybe if letting one of theirs, if they had someone and we could pay them and then they'd pay, or
Right.
however it works out. But at the time, they were trying to work with the county on letting their, deputy or officers or whatever wear their deputies outfit because it was costing Poseyville too much money to keep buying uniforms, and then they quit and they have to buy more uniforms, so they were trying to work out something with the county,
Okay.
the sheriff's department. And so I can reach back to her and see
Yeah,
if they
see,
have
give
talked
us,
any more
yeah,
about
give us some
that.
pathways on that one.
All right.
We have
So we can also probably,
a budget of $12,000 for a part-time officer.
And we're
Yes, it
thinking,
was.
and I was just thinking, well, when it's gone, it's gone. But, you
Mhm.
know, sometimes presence
Yeah.
helps. But I was thinking, it won't definitely be every day, probably not every week. But if we can have them 3 times a month come, nobody knows they're coming, work 2 or 3 hours. Let us use what we have and let's get some presence known in this town.
what about, who's the point, this is the same thing. Who would be the point of contact at New Harmony for that? We know Rankin's in Poseyville. Who would be,
I don't know who they're talking about. I don't even know if
'Cause
they
they-
have a.
Yeah,
they
they
have
do
to have
now.
one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And seeing that was
so
an
that's something
issue
to look into
because
too.
their last one was new and he hadn't worked through the academy, so he wouldn't be one that would be willing, or he couldn't do it because he
Right.
hadn't went through the academy yet. So.
What about, I know with the town of Poseyville or any, a retired officer still holds his shield and his sidearm. Why can't a retired officer do that? That may just be an option. You know what I mean? Something to look into also.
Mhm.
So. Trying to come up with every pathway we can here. It's gonna take a little more
Will
research.
you get more info on that?
Mhm.
That might wanna look that way,
Mhm.
because a retired officer does maintain his shield and his sidearm,
Okay.
so. But I don't know if he holds the authorization right, you know what I mean? We'll have to look into it. So, alright, so there's our pathway for that. To look more into. And then, fire ordinance was the other one.
Yeah, burn.
Yes, we need
And
something.
town
Well, I
limits.
know we go by the
Yeah, we have to go by Indiana law.
Indiana law.
Yep.
And,
I think even when there's a burn ban, you can still burn in a fire pit, correct?
No,
No, it has to have,
can't have anything.
it has to have a chimney, you know what I mean? It has to have they have other terms for it, but for lack of,
can't be open, can't be any open burning.
right,
And I think that
They're supposed to have water, like when you burn, they're supposed to have water accessible, they're supposed to man the burn while they are burning. I think it's only supposed to be during daylight hours that people can burn.
And I think like only like, not trash, not furniture, it said, the
It's
Indiana
only
code.
lawn, or, like yard.
Yard-
Yeah,
yard
So-
waste.
rubbish.
are we wanting to get away from the Indiana code? Or are we wanting to know how to better enforce the Indiana code? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Because in my head, I've got 2 pathways here, you know what I mean? How do we enforce the Indiana code, right? Or do we want to rewrite our own ordinance for that? Poseville, like you said, you use Poseville, Poseville has its own
mhm.
fire ordinance, you know, what I mean, Cynthiana has its own fire ordinance. Which would be easy to reach out and find out how they do it. So those are 2 different pathways, though, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Well, it's sort of hard because I think if you go by the state, you gotta call 911.
Right.
And then they call Tim, and then Tim has to come out and say there's a fire
Yeah.
and all this stuff. So it may be easier to do our own if we find out like how Cynthia or Poseyville does it. I
well,
mean, I,
Who enforces those though?
yeah, that's the
I mean,
question.
like, what
the
if,
county, like Tim goes out and talks to him. And if they continue to do it, then he has a deputy come out and they're
Okay,
doing a
let's look at
citation.
it this way. How much does it cost for someone in town to get that fire certification? that's something we look
Mhm.
into, you know what I mean?
But then is that person gonna be willing for you to call them all
That's-
hours of the night?
I mean, that's other things. I'm just trying to get every option we can on the table, sort of like a chess game, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then we move our chess pieces around until we win the game. So that's another option is what does you have to be certified? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
When is the class? You know, it's gonna be a class, and in my head, I'm probably thinking it's $300 to $400, but I don't know. This is just me pulling stuff out of my head. And that puts more pieces on the board for us to decide a pathway. So it's more stuff to look into. Find a lot of research stuff, but we ain't really changed much in the last 50 years. So there's a lot of research we got to get going, figure out how we do things right. So, but yeah, so let's look at it that way. All right, so we got to look at if we're going to how to enforce Indiana law, how to change our ordinance, and how to get a fire safety certification. So, because that person could write ordinances legally, you know what I mean, and do it on the spot, and we wouldn't have to wait for the Posey County to come out and do it. So, we'll look at it that way. Good. Anything else?
The only thing, when we're going back to these letters, I think a letter, or we need to look at 228 West Street.
Okay, what, any specific, you want me to?
Well, there's vehicles,
Okay, based on my walk, I'll figure it out.
That's fine.
Okay,
and then also, I'm just asking, just protect us. Do we loan the town tractor out to people to use?
for the snow, yes, we can,
Or we can?
because we don't have, county covers, you know what I mean, for it. And that's was one of the reasons they bought the,
Okay.
shovel on
So
front of the
like
snow.
if someone would come and say, hey, can I borrow the town tractor to go, we would do that.
If they're authorized to do it, you know what I mean? Basically, I can't do it because I don't know how to use it. Does that
Oh,
make sense?
okay.
So you'd have to show me, you know what I mean,
You gotta
You know
have
how to
knowledge on
use
how to operate the equipment.
equipment, so it's not open for everybody, you know what I mean? You have to show me that you can use the equipment.
Right.
Does that make
okay,
sense?
I think
okay.
we would get in touchy situation loaning that out with our
Mhm.
insurance.
Right,
It's not happened, has it?
I hope not.
Well, I'm just asking.
I was gonna say, 'cause Bill used a tractor from up on
Yeah.
the farm to do.
the only people
like,
authorized to
phones
use
and
the
ours.
town one would be Rudy, Carter, and the Pfeiffer.
Kyle.
Kyle.
Cause he was the one. that
What
used it.
color is
Well,
it?
I don't
What
think
color
Kyle
is it?
should be authorized
Green.
because he's not.
He's
just
not-
there.
well, he's
Yeah.
not
Is it green?
Town's
It's
green.
Yeah, he's not employed.
He's not employed anymore, Kyle's
No.
not, so he can't.
Yeah,
No, but like I said, he,
yeah,
Would be
knew
one of-
At
how
one
to
point.
work it,
Yeah.
okay. Because
So,
I was just thinking, I
yeah,
didn't
there's some-
know, like, if someone sees someone on the town tractor and they say, hey, I'd like to borrow the town tractor to go do this with my yard.
right,
And then, we say, no, you can't. Well, and then how's the gas getting replenished?
Yeah.
How does,
If
because
it's
the town pays for the gas.
sort of mentally in my head, if it's an emergency service, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
example would be the snow, you know what I mean?
okay.
We had the Marvels come through town,
Right,
the
right.
Hancocks, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But that still left out options on some
Mhm.
corners and stuff like that.
Right, right.
So little things like that. And if we want to, I can write a standard operating procedure for that. You know what I mean? Where if X wants to do this, you know what I mean? I contact you too, you know what I mean? And say, do you guys authorize this? You know what I mean? I can write not a ordinance for it, but like a standard operating procedure for it. So, and they have to have these steps prior to driving the tractor.
I think
I still
John,
don't think we should be loaning it out to people. I still don't.
Well, yeah, I don't think it should be
going
loaned out either, you know what I
Or
mean?
to anybody that, unless they're a town employee.
I was gonna say, cause nobody's asked me, and the only people that I know that would have a key to it would be Rudy and Carter.
I'm the only one with the keys to the tractor. I think Eddie Jean may still have a key. Yes, I'm pretty
If
sure.
anybody complained at our end of town, it was Bill, and then Rudy borrowed the tractor and did some like for
their,
Ethan and
their
Nathan and
family.
Karen and
And I've done some
Andrew.
other,
Yeah,
I've done
Well,
art alleyway and then the one
just-
across.
No, I
To
understand.
protect us, but, okay, like the gas thing, how's the gas get replenished? It's not for a town
Right,
a
exactly.
purpose, it's
Right.
being used for a personal purpose. So how you know, I mean, someone can say, well, they loaned the tractor to so-and-so and did they put gas in it or why can, I'm just
No,
saying.
No, I'm
You
with
know,
you.
you're opening a
I'm with
can
you.
of worms here.
Okay,
And, I just think it shouldn't be loaned out to nobody unless they are
and I think all
town
three,
employees doing a town project.
and
for the town.
you three all cover the same base on that, so that's how we do it.
Okay, okay,
We all three agreed on it, and we're good.
okay. And, the only other thing I had was, I think we need to get the attorney in here too.
Yeah, that's
To
why,
talk more. Because like you're meeting with him, and like I say, you went ahead and gave him the okay to send that to the judge. I think that
Mhm.
should have been a council book. That is a big decision, and I think big decisions need to be ran through the council, or that's how it always has been. I
Okay.
mean, most of the times, and like, I appreciate your hard work and
Yeah.
everything you're trying to get done, but like you're going ahead and he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna send out this. Most of the times it was brought to the council and say, are we all in agreement? Let's take a vote on it. And we're not doing that anymore. And I think cost wise, you run into the attorney, because I'm sure he's charging you for his time with you. It's better if he can come and talk to the whole council. All of us hear what he has to say instead of you going to him and then he gets back to you and then you tell it to us. I just think it's a better way if the, like on the Titzer properties and like things going before the judge probably should be, because it's gonna go before the judge, and if the judge grants it, like you said, we gotta come up with money
Mhm.
to demolition this. So, you know, I just think it's better if he comes and discusses it and then we talk cost wise, you know, and all this, maybe looking for, you know, maybe going forward, big things like this, we need to start taking votes on it. Things need to be brought before things are done.
Okay,
I mean, that is just that's just my perception. And I think, and most times when things are gonna cost money, you're supposed to bring them before the council, if it's gonna cost the town money.
okay. So my mindset on that one is we've been doing the, you know, I mean, the process on that property since August,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? So we've already sort of agreed that we're gonna move forward with all of it. That's why I went down that day and signed
Right,
that.
I just think it's better when the attorney, when we're talking big like that, he should come and talk to the whole council and to the town about how this is going to proceed. And yes, I agree, this has been going on since January of last year.
Yeah, before,
So, it needs to come to an end, I
Mhm.
agree.
Yeah.
So, but,
okay,
Yeah.
so at this point forward,
What about like once every quarter he has to, are we asking? I mean,
Well,
our
like I said,
budget for
if-
attorney fees is 6,000 for the year.
yeah, and if we bring him, if we bring him down here, it's gonna get higher, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that's what we have
Are
to.
you talking about like in regular meeting or like executive meeting to have him to come?
well, some things has to be executive, like we had some last year on proceeding with the Titzer properties, but just in general, like, you know, like going forward, like this is what, well, like him proposing that, I thought, you know, he came and talked to the council when we moved forward on something else and it was an executive meeting. It was a closed meeting, then the council had to talk on how we wanted to proceed, and then we got back with him on how we wanted to proceed.
okay. We try it, we'll work it,
It's just,
we'll work it.
I just don't want the town to get combined into a mess with all this stuff going on.
We can work it. I think that covers,
No, we
That's
got one
all
more.
I have.
Workers' comp on seasonal employees. So I have, I'm honestly not sure why this was never addressed before. Because any employee, you have to have workers'
Mhm.
comp on. And so how the council let it go for this many years. I have contacted our insurance company, and I talked to, hold on just a second. John Poling, and, he needed our EIN number, so I got him all that. They were closed Monday, talked to him Tuesday, gave him all that stuff today. So he is going to, our policy does not have a workers' comp on it that he's seen. So he is going to work on that, and see if we can get it added to our current policy. We do have I want to check myself because I'm pretty sure I looked at this. Yes, so we do have $1,000 for work comp insurance. It's never been used, and I don't know how we went this long without work comp insurance, but nonetheless, it is started and he's working on it, and I'll continue to follow up and get it taken care of.
Yeah, so would it be like cover the council too, or just like the seasonal
Yeah,
employees?
it would, to my understanding, it will cover all of us because we are all employees for the
Right.
town.
Well, I just wondered if like Nathan went out and did something and then
Yeah,
broke his arm.
that was kind of, yes, that was my thought on it too, was like if we're going on to these properties
Mhm.
and something was to happen, some of that would fall on the homeowners.
Well, I mean, you just-
Maybe, but it would cover us because we are covered.
I
as
want to find the
employees.
most dangerous spot.
Well, and that's the only reason I brought it up. I was trying to protect
Mhm.
the town and the council.
Mhm.
So that was my reason for bringing it up.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's being worked on. He did ask me how many seasonal employees we had. I told him, 2. He asked how much they made last year, and I told him that, so he'll work it up with that. And then, we aren't really hourly, we're just more,
Mhm.
so it's not, it's kind of, you can't, yeah.
Okay, so now we can open it up to your guys' questions. I know that was long, it's long, that was long. Lots of discussions. Get your homework done.
No.
Did you learn? You learned a lot though. Always learn 1% every day.
She can go back to school and give it.
That's right.
She's learning her civic duty.
That's right, exactly. You guys good?
Then I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
And I'll second it.
Until we meet
Meet
again,
again, yeah, and that is
March
March
18th.
March 18th of 2026.
I think these.
all the papers
Yeah.
last night.